It's December 31st, 2024. Everyone else is getting their resolutions ready. They are getting ready to party and they are bringing in the new year, but not me. I am finally settling down after Christmas. I have been crocheting and such Christmas gifts since August. And I finally want to do something for me. I did knit one thing for myself during that time, but this is a time where I will be doing something only for myself. So I thought I would do a chill little talky vlog while I cast on what am I making? I'm making a sweater. I'm making a sweater for myself. I'm making a green and black striped sweater. I am not following a pattern. I'm just kind of vibing, figuring it out as I go. I love to do that. That's my preferred way to do fiber arts, so that's what we're doing. So going into 2025, we'll be going into my 12th year, knowing I have my 12th year knowing I have celiac disease. Being gluten-free, going on a specialty diet. I've been on a specialty diet for the last 12 years. It's changed a lot off and on. I did not know what MCAS was at the time, which is something that I do know that I have now, which is allergy. It causes allergy type reactions. And so that's what I was dealing with alongside the celiac. Celiacs, I can't remember which way it is. Celiac or celiacs, whichever one. The gluten problem. But it's also starting my 5th year since I've considered myself fully disabled. And I've had disabilities since I was a child, but it hasn't really been noticeable enough for people to see them visibly, for even myself to recognize them as disabilities until about 5 years ago. Well, 6 years ago, but I didn't really know about disability culture or anything until I had been on the internet for a little bit longer, looking around. And one of the really interesting things about being disabled is that you kind of have to keep this thought process that being disabled is really cool and interesting and fun, which is true in some ways. I mean, it's true in a lot of ways. You have these really cool gadgets that you get to use and add to your style. I use all of my accessibility aids, my glasses, my mobility aids, etc. as fashion, and that's really cool. That's something that's really awesome that you get to do when you're disabled, is have extra accessories, I guess. But it's weird to hold that at the same time as being this is actually one of the worst things that you could possibly endure in life. Is long-term severe illness. And the severity of my illness changes based on what my body is doing. Sometimes my body gets worse and sometimes it is better, and I don't really have control over that, but also based on what treatments I can get and stuff, just depending on money and what doctors are in my area and all of those things. But you kind of have to be so being disabled, cool, sexy, interesting, super hot, super fun, super lovely community. Also, you never want to be that. Also, that would suck ass. So you hold all of those things, and then it's but then also it's also on top of that, it's also one of the worst things I've ever experienced, and that any human can ever experience, especially because we don't really have a society that takes care of disabled people. So on top of all of the excruciating pain and the I don't know, just general suffering you experience by being disabled, you also on top of that have to experience the suffering of systemic ableism, which really sucks. So I feel I kind of give off a disability is cool vibe, because I try really hard to give off that vibe, because I don't want people who are already disabled to feel like they have to suffer any more than they already are. Already you're suffering immensely. You might as well make the things that are good actually be good. But also I don't want to give off the vibe that I want people to become disabled, because like it does suck. Obviously it's not like, oh my god, it's the worst thing that would ever happen to you, like you should kill yourself if you become disabled, because like also people say that and that's super ableist, because being disabled is cool and hot and sexy. It is, but also it sucks, and I also would not wish it on my worst enemy. So I don't know, that's just some real thoughts from someone who's like, I don't know, actively tries to push for people to see disability as a positive thing, in the sense that like disabled community and using mobility aids and making things easier for yourself, giving yourself accessibility, all those things are good things, and should be done whether you like technically have a disability or not, whether your disability is from age or from a genetic disorder like mine is, or from an injury. Like no matter what your disability is from, you should be giving yourself accessibility, and you should be making things easier on yourself, and you should be working hard to make disability less difficult than it has to be, because it's already very difficult. But I also have to say it is like possibly the worst thing to ever experience, is like the suffering that comes with disability. And I don't say that very often because I don't want to come across as like supporting the ableist people that are like, if I were you, I would just like, don't worry, we've all thought it. In fact, I've thought it many times, and not only have we all thought of it, a lot of people have done it, because it is really difficult to handle and manage. But like, I want to prove that you can have a disabled life, a really difficult disabled life that is worth living, which like a lot of people have a worse, like a more difficult life than I do, but my life's pretty difficult. It's not the Olympics, you know, it's not the suffering Olympics. It's never the suffering Olympics. I don't want to make it the suffering Olympics. I just want people to understand that like you can have a disabled life worth living even if you're not like I don't know, rich and in every fancy treatment center. But I also don't want to lie to you and say that being cool and hot and sexy and beautiful and interesting and gorgeous and interesting is the only part of disability. Like, there's still a lot of terrible stuff and a lot of suffering. And I've been getting really used to using that word recently, suffering. Like, I don't know, I feel like we don't use that in our daily life. Like, that is a word that is saved for the most horrible experiences in human history. But I think that sometimes being disabled is one of the worst experiences and leads to a lot of daily suffering. Like, I suffer immensely. And we can say that you like suffer with a disease, and I certainly do suffer with various diseases, but like suffering, the word suffering, it brings about like this sort of malignancy that's I don't know, I think scares people. But it's true. I suffer every single day. I am suffering at all times, and it's important for me to talk about my suffering so that I'm not alone. Because suffering alone is worse than suffering with other people, right? I don't know. I don't want you to suffer alone either. To sit in your suffering and want to, like, you know. I refuse to say unalive seriously. That's not a serious word that I will use, but, you know, whatever I can say that will get around the censors without having to say unalive. Anyway, I'm making myself a green and black striped sweater. I think it's gonna be real fun. I think it's gonna go really good with my cane that I have as a green glow in the dark end. which is super fun. And it's black. So, well, it's like clear with black on it. You've seen it. If you've seen my videos, you've seen it. And if you want to get one that's similar, I do have a code. So you can get like percentages off. I don't remember how many percentages. I think it's 15% off, I believe. I can correct myself here if I am incorrect. I haven't looked at the email in a minute because it was Christmas. Every year, I think that in the new year, I'm going to start, I don't know, being more consistent about my videos and about my YouTube and about my TikTok and about my creation, and I want to be every year, but I think this year's my year. I have been working really hard to get this to be something that I want it to be. And I want it to be about my art, and I want it to be about disability at the same time. And I really love the idea of working on my art. So you get the visuals of my fashion and or my, what is this I'm doing? Fiber arts? So you get the visuals of either my fashion and my fiber arts while I'm talking about disability, or you get the visuals of dealing with disability while I'm talking about fashion and fiber arts. I think that's a really cool idea, and I think that it mixes the two things that I love really well in a way that I will be able to... And I hope that that really mixes them in a way that's interesting to other people. But more than anything, I think it'll mix them in a way that's interesting to me. And the hardest time that I've had recently with creation is that I'm not making videos that I enjoy or that I want to watch. I used to rewatch my own videos all the time, and now when I post a video, well, not right now. Right now when I post a video, I do rewatch it. But recently when I posted videos, it wasn't because it was something I wanted to make or something that I was just like so interested in making. It was something that I thought my audience would like. And I just hate making content that way. Like, I love you guys, obviously, and I want you to be interested in my content, but I'm hoping that you'll be interested in the content that I like to make, not just content that caters to, oh my god, I think I have that disease. Oh my god, I think I have that disease. Because that's all I get in my comments. And it's like, that's not what I want. You know, I don't want everyone diagnosing themselves in my comments. I want to share what my life is like. I want to share what, you know, life with disability is like. And if people relate to that, obviously I want them to, you know, be able to talk about it. And I want to share, you know, how I'm able to like get my how I was able to get my diagnoses and where I get my mobility aids from, and like share resources and stuff. But I don't know, I think I got tired of making the same video over and over. I've been making the same videos on TikTok, just the same fucking education for like, I don't know, four years now, almost 5 years now, and I got tired of making the same fucking videos over and over and over and not doing anything new. So I think this will be something new. I think this will be something that I love, hopefully, and it'll at least incorporate two things that I love. Being a disabled content creator is also like weird, and I think being a content creator in general is weird, so I don't really know if being disabled changes that. But like, obviously I don't upload consistently. And part of that is because I was hating what I was uploading for a long time, and I kept changing what I was making and like changing how I was uploading it and doing stuff like that to try and get more views with videos that I liked making, and I couldn't do it. So then I was back to making videos I hated, and I hated doing that, and so then I was not posting. But like, the other reason I don't post consistently obviously is because I'm unwell a lot of the time, and I personally don't film when I'm not feeling like very well. I might film where I'm feeling like meh, where I'm like eh, but I usually only film when I'm feeling like the very best that I feel. Like right now I don't feel great because I have a cold also on top of, and possibly a UTI on top of like regular bleh. but like I don't feel terrible. I feel good enough to sit up. So like it could be worse. In fact, I feel good enough to sit up and good enough to knit, so it could certainly be worse. But yeah, like some people film like when they have medical events or when they're feeling really bad or like their partner taking care of them or something. Like I love seeing videos like that. I cannot film that. Personally, like it's not even like, oh, it's too deep into my life or like I feel too bad. I just don't think about having a camera on hand in those moments. Like I'm fighting for my life in those moments. I'm not thinking about having a camera. I'm thinking about not dying. Most of the time I'm thinking about if someone can figure out a way to make me not feel like that. And usually I'm watching Good Mythical Morning and I'm, suffering, as it were. I don't film my own suffering, not because I don't think it would be entertaining. I do think it would be entertaining, actually, to observe my suffering, and I think it could be educational to observe my suffering. I simply am not thinking about you all when I am experiencing my suffering, and while I love you all, I don't know why I said it like that, as if I'm not from the South. While I love y'all, I don't know, I'm not thinking about you while I'm experiencing my suffering. So, I don't know. I wish I could be like that sometimes. Like, I wish I could do interesting stuff like that, and I wish I could do, like, vlogs of me going to doctor's appointments and stuff, but I can barely even do a thrift with me vlog, and, like, I certainly don't think about filming. When I'm like walking into a doctor's office, I'm thinking about like, everyone staring at me. Because I'm walking into a doctor's office and I'm cool and fun and hot and interesting. Because I'm young and disabled. And I think that's weird. Especially if I have my wheelchair. Even though it's a doctor's office. Who is supposed to be at the doctor's office if not disabled people? You know what? That's a separate rant. Okay? Because who is supposed to be at the doctor's office if not disabled people? So why the fuck are doctor's offices and hospitals the most inaccessible places I've ever been in my life? I've been in a Ruby Tuesdays that is more accessible. Okay? Why? Why are so many places more accessible than hospitals? Like, what is the point of being a hospital if you're not accessible? Who is going to the hospital if not disabled people? And they're so inaccessible, and it pisses me off. I used to go to physical therapy at the hospital twice a week. Have not been able to do that in a long time. But their bathroom doors were so heavy, like unbelievably heavy, and I had my rollator with me because that's what I was using at the time. At this time, I'd probably be using a cane or my crutches because I'm just doing a lot better than I was at that time. Like, the physical therapy didn't help, but getting my thyroid fixed did, so I guess that's that on that. But like I still could use physical therapy, and if I went, I couldn't get into that fucking bathroom, in and out of that fucking bathroom, and I always had to go because I have interstitial cystitis and I have IBS and other digestive issues. So I literally always had to go to that bathroom, and I could barely get in and out on my own. And one time my spouse came to pick me up, and they had to come get me out of the bathroom. I would unlock the door and have them open it because I couldn't get out on my own. Why the fuck is a hospital the place that I can't even... Anyway, that was unrelated, but that was a major rant. I hate hospitals. I hate how inaccessible they are. I hate trying to use... I never, ever, ever use my wheelchair in medical settings unless I absolutely have to. the time that my legs got paralyzed, or the time that I couldn't even sit up when my POTS was flaring and like things like that. But yeah, no, I do not use my wheelchair in a hospital or doctor office setting just because they're so inaccessible. Those rooms are always tiny. They've got those massive fucking beds in them with all of those chairs sitting around. Like, why do you need 5 chairs in this room? I promise not that many are, you don't even allow that many people to come in this room. Okay? It's just me and my partner. Yeah. Pisses me off. I always have to use my crutches or my cane. And some days I feel really bad and I would prefer to use my wheelchair because sometimes I will like pass out in the doctor's office or whatever, and if I was using my wheelchair, that wouldn't happen. But I literally can't get around in their office. So I don't use it. It pisses me off because not everyone has that option. Like, sure, I'm privileged because I have the option to not use it and still get around. Like, I'm not gonna be stuck. You know, I won't be crawling on my hands, dragging my legs behind me if I don't use my wheelchair. But there are some people that like that would be what was happening. Okay? And then how are they getting around? They're not. Pisses me off. Frustrates me. I don't know who to talk to about this. Because it's not like one doctor's office. It's not like I can go in and be like, hey guys, you have a really inaccessible office. Could you change it to be more like, I don't know, such and such? And because nowhere is accessible. Fucking hospitals are impossible to get around in. So anyway, my goal in the new year is to make more consistent content. Make some long form videos. I am a YouTube baby. Like, I'm too old to be a TikTok like major fan. Like, YouTube has always been my main source of media, so I love YouTube. I've done long form video content before, and I hope that I'm able to maintain it again because that is really where my love lies in content creation, is with long form content. So I hope that I can make some, plenty of short form content as well and do well with that. But I hope that I am able to really pour some love this year into my content creation and make some long form content that you will enjoy, that I will enjoy, that we will all enjoy, that it will be good, that it will be interesting, that some other people surely out there like chronic illness plus knitting content. The fuck is this? Alright, I've cast on. I've done 2 rows. Hopefully I do not have to frog this whole thing again, because this is how far I got last time before I had to start frogging, and I will see you all in the new year. Bye. Should have put my TENS unit on before I... Oh, fuck, if I get stuck. Okay, bye.